The New Year's Eve party had reached its peak, and the apartment pulsed with laughter and music. I stood on the balcony, drawn to the city lights and the distant hum of celebration. Little did I know that the revelry would soon be drowned by the echoes of a nightmarish reality. As the clock neared midnight, I rejoined the lively gathering, toasting to the promise of a new year. Amidst the cheers and laughter, I caught sight of a stranger, a face that seemed oddly out of place. Unsettled, but dismissing it as a random guest, I continued my celebration. As the countdown commenced, a stranger approached with a genial smile. He introduced himself as Alex, claiming to be a friend of a friend. I hesitated but, caught up in the festive atmosphere, welcomed him into the circle. The clock's rhythmic ticking seemed to fade as we exchanged pleasantries. When the final countdown began, signaling the arrival of the new year, the apartment erupted in joyous chaos. Amidst the confetti and cheers, I felt a tap on my shoulder. "Alex." He suggested a quiet moment away from the crowd, a chance to reflect on the past year and set intentions for the one ahead. Naively, I followed him into an empty room, the door shutting behind us. The atmosphere shifted abruptly, the festive ambience replaced by a palpable tension. Alex's demeanor transformed, his genial smile replaced by a sinister smirk. In that chilling moment, I realized I was alone with a stranger whose intentions were far from benign. His unsettling gaze bore into me as he revealed the dark purpose behind his facade. "You never know who you can trust," he whispered, a menacing undertone underscoring his words. My heart raced as the gravity of the situation sank in. Alex detailed an unnerving familiarity with my life, places I frequented, people I knew, a level of intrusion that defied comprehension. His threats veered into the realm of psychological terror, as he described plans to weave himself into the fabric of my existence. As the clock struck midnight, the party outside seemed worlds away from the nightmare unfolding within those walls. Alex's words hung in the air like a toxic fog, clouding any semblance of security. The festive cheer had given way to an eerie silence, punctuated only by the echoes of my own fear. Just as Alex reveled in his psychological conquest, a twist of fate intervened. A neighbor, drawn by the ominous silence from the room, barged in. The unexpected intrusion disrupted Alex's calculated plan, and he vanished into the commotion of the New Year's celebration. Shaken and terrified, I stumbled out of the room, the weight of the encounter settling into my bones. The police were called, but Alex had vanished, leaving behind the unsettling truth that danger could emerge even in the midst of celebration. In the aftermath, the party dispersed, and the apartment became a haunting shell of revelry. The boundary between celebration and danger had blurred, leaving me to grapple with the harsh reality that the festive veneer of New Year's Eve could conceal the darkest depths of human nature. The pulsating rhythm of the New Year's celebration echoed through the city streets. Fireworks adorned the night sky, casting a kaleidoscope of colors above the jubilant crowd. My girlfriend and I, eager to continue the festivities, decided to join an after-party at an empty warehouse, a decision that would plunge us into an unforeseen descent into darkness. As we entered the dimly lit space, the atmosphere felt off. The makeshift bar exuded an air of sketchiness, and despite the thumping music and lively crowd, an unsettling tension lingered. Ignoring our instincts, we headed to the bar, exchanged smiles, and embraced the dance of celebration. As the night wore on, the warehouse's facade of revelry began to unravel. The DJ's beats, once a comforting rhythm, now carried an ominous undertone. My unease grew when I noticed clusters of people exchanging secretive glances, their eyes flickering with something more than the typical New Year's excitement. Around 2 a.m., with the outside world cloaked in darkness, the atmosphere inside the warehouse turned more ominous. The once lively chatter seemed to hush into sinister whispers. I caught glimpses of people, their faces concealed by hoods and masks. There were about 5 of them. Paranoia crawled up my spine, and a chill settled in my bones. An unsettling feeling took root when those hooded figures started converging, their collective gaze fixated on my girlfriend and me. Panic clawed at my chest, urging us to escape this twisted celebration before it spiraled into something beyond our control. But curiosity and fear held us captive. I needed to understand the intentions of those shadowy figures. Deciding to stay a little longer, I observed their movements from the edge of the dance floor. Their hushed conversations and furtive glances remained unsettling, and I couldn't shake the feeling that their attention was fixated on us. Dread loomed as the realization set in that something malevolent was brewing. The decision to leave became imperative when the group of hooded figures started following our every move. Paranoia transformed into genuine fear as their pursuit intensified. Desperation clung to us, urging a swift escape from the encroaching darkness. Just as panic reached its peak, help arrived in an unexpected form. Out of the dimly lit chaos, we collided with another group of people at the party. Fortunately, the group consisting of 12 people were actually friends of mine. I didn't know they were also at the party. I explained what had just happened to my friends, and they assured me that they would escort us to our car. Laughter and camaraderie engulfed us as the sheer number of our group created an impenetrable barrier against the ominous figures. The hooded figures, outnumbered and seemingly thwarted, dispersed into the crowd. The safety net of our friends shielded us from the dark intentions that had lurked in the shadows. Relief washed over us, but questions lingered. Who were those people? And what were they planning to do to us if we hadn't encountered our friends? The New Year's Eve countdown echoed through my living room, the vibrant colors of fireworks bursting in the night sky. The cheerful voices of revelers on the television filled the air, and I sat alone, content in the warmth of my home. The familiar anticipation of a new beginning enveloped me as the countdown reached its climax. However, amid the cacophony of celebration, a series of muffled bangs disrupted the festive atmosphere. At first, I dismissed them as part of the explosive display outside, blending seamlessly with the crackling bursts of fireworks. Yet, as the echoes persisted, a disquieting suspicion began to gnaw at the edges of my consciousness. The final countdown began. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At the stroke of midnight, an unnerving boom reverberated through my home. This was no celebratory firework. It was a discordant note that shattered the New Year's Eve serenity. Curiosity mingled with trepidation as I followed the source of the sound. The unsettling realization dawned upon me. The ominous noise emanated from the crawlspace. With a sense of urgency, I descended the crawlspace ladder, clutching a firearm I never thought I'd need. The rhythmic banging persisted, now distinguishable from the distant fireworks. As I approached the crawlspace entrance, the air thickened with tension. The first glimpse into the narrow, dimly lit enclosure revealed a shocking tableau. A man, covered in mud, hunched in the corner, wielding a hammer as if it were an extension of his own arm. Our eyes met, and a chilling recognition passed between us. Time froze as I grappled with the surreal horror unfolding before me. The intruder's disheveled appearance suggested a descent into madness. The mud on his clothes and the maniacal glint in his eyes painted a picture of someone unhinged. Reacting on instinct, I raised my firearm, the cold steel offering a semblance of control in the face of uncertainty. The man's gaze held a feral intensity, and I knew, with a certainty that sent shivers down my spine, that my life hung in the balance. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger, the gunshot thundering in the confined space. My bullet missed the man, but it did the job. The intruder sprinted toward the hole he had crudely excavated. Following his muddy trail, I stumbled upon the grim reality. He had broken through the foundation, a silent invader biding his time. The cacophony of New Year's fireworks had unwittingly masked his intrusion. The thought sent shivers down my spine. An intruder had breached the sanctity of my home, driven by motives unknown. The aftermath revealed the extent of his clandestine efforts. The man, now gone, had tunneled through their crawl space, infiltrating my haven. The vulnerability of my home struck me with a newfound terror. How long had he lurked in the shadows, waiting for the opportune moment? As the night wore on, a chilling awareness settled in my bones. The boundary between celebration and menace had blurred, exposing the fragility of my sense of security. The new year, heralded with cheers and jubilation, bore witness to a clandestine invasion that left an indelible mark on my psyche. The fireworks outside continued to illuminate the night, oblivious to the silent struggle within the walls of my home. The intruder, a phantom in the chaos of celebration, had vanished into the shadows, leaving me haunted by the question: what sinister intentions had accompanied him into the new year?